Here, bringing you a double manga review on Eden Zero. This will be chapter 24 and 25. 24 was titled Sister Evelyn, and chapter 25 is titled Determine the Targets. Thanks to the holidays, I've been away for a while, so now I'm catching back up on my reviews. But these two chapters that passed were awesome. Chapter 24 is basically the continuation of the fight between Jen versus Shiki, and excuse me, my throat's kind of bad. And basically it was Shiki versus Jen, the continuation. And so far Shiki has the upper hand and he's getting a lot of good hits on him. And Jen is like, why are you so strong? And he was like, well, on the other planet I was just playing around, but this time I'm taking things seriously. And he was like, okay, bet. And they continue their fight. We also have the other sister back in the ship with Happy. And it starts off with her saying, you know, hey, the ship is gonna go down, and and basically that planet eater that ate the old planet of Galash that they were in before has come back. And if it eats this planet, it would eat 50 years off its time zone. And anyone who's 50 or younger will be wiped out of existence if they lose 50 years off their time. So it's basically an automatic death for the young people that are there. Which would be Shiki, all the kidnapped girls, Jin himself, probably even the robots that are there will probably die as well, who knows. But that was explained in the beginning of the chapter, and we see Happy crying because there's not enough time to go back and get them. But then we get the Jin versus Shiki fight, and again, like I said, Shiki's putting hands on him, and he's whipping him pretty good. And it comes to the point where like their fight get interrupted, and we see the mother steps in. This is the other sister, and she steps in, and I believe she called herself Sister Ivory, and she steps in, and she's with that tall dude with the gun who has the mustache, and she's like, why it's taking you so long? And basically he was like explaining to him, you know, what's gonna go down and so forth and so forth. And she's basically mocking him. And it comes to this point where Shiki gets upset because she's like, oh, I'm gonna deal with this brat by myself. And Shiki was like, you know what, you ain't no sister. I take all three of y'all on. And he's like this, putting a Natsu pose. And I'm like, it looks so weird because he looks so much like Gray, but he has Natsu's characteristics. So it's kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. I mean, I don't mind that every hero is reusing his character designs, because no matter what type of manga you are, it's okay for you to use character designs that you used before, or even places that you probably have used before in other stories. As long as you switch them up and you make them different, then that's all that matters. And when it comes to Shiki and Rebecca, they are completely different from their counterparts, which is Lucy and Natsu. Yes, they look the same and they have some actions that might be considered the same, but other than that, they pretty all technically different. But they're not carbon copies, so I don't mind that he's reusing their character design, because their powers and the way they think is completely different. But I know certain people are gonna be iffy about that and complain and say, oh, blah blah blah, this is boring, this is stupid, and complain. But basically he's gonna wind up taking on all three. And with that going on, we switched to Rebecca. And Rebecca noticed that it was told to Rebecca that the little girl that's with them was missing. And they decided to let's all split up and find her. But Pino was like, that'd be bad. To make sure we gain survival, it'd make sense for all of us to just leave. And whoever gets lost, get lost. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically the point that she was bringing up. And Rebecca told her, look, she's our friend and we have to look for her. And Pino was like, friend? And she's like, look, even though we just met, I feel like destiny brought us all here for a reason. and it wouldn't be fair to leave her. I consider her a friend. So I'm gonna go look for her for myself, and you take the girls and you take them to safety. And Peanut was kind of sad, but at the same time confused. You know, she's a robot and she can't really understand this friendship thing that we humans call. So she's slowly learning it, but while that's learning, Rebecca goes to leave. And then we switch over to the last part of chapter 24. We switch over to Wisp and Hamaru, and they fight. And their fight seems to be on a stalemate, surprisingly. And Wise asks her, "What are you really looking for?" And before she gets to tell him, she heard a noise in the background, so she ran off to go follow it, and he ran after her. And that's when we get the end of the panel. And we see another sister there. Now, we don't know who this sister is, but she can either be just a regular, she looked like a regular human, so she could be just a regular nun that was in charge of this church that the other sister took over, Ivory, or maybe she's a real sister, not the other one. But that was chapter 24. Then chapter 25 starts off with an epic banger again. It starts off with Shiki actually taking on all three of these people. But the only one he's fighting right now is the fat guy with the mustache, because he has his gun out and he's shooting massive bullets. And then we get a flashback of of Shiki like thinking what to do. And he started thinking of, his orbs in his hand, the gravity orbs. So what he did was he shot them out, and then he retracted them. He shot some new ones, and he basically pinched the guy into two orbs. And the other orbs, when she went to hit the lady, the sister, Ivory, she actually blocked them, but the way she blocked them really ticked them off, because she grabbed Jin and she used them as a human shield, and then she just threw them on the floor. And she's like, "Don't worry, I can heal you with my ability." And then she healed them both, and that really ticked off Shiki, because it was like, "This is how you treat your friends. You treat them like shields." And she's like, "These are my soldiers, my puppets. They're meant to do what I command." And that really set him off. So he just continues his battle with them. Then we switch over to Rebecca, looking all over the place for little girl Becky. They got lost. And she found Becky, but Becky was captured by that frog guy who was turning all the pretty girls into like statues. And he had a gun to her head, and he was like, "Bow down to me, or I'm going to shoot her." And the instant she bowed down, he started stepping on her head. And he's like, "This is all you women are good for, or just to be stepped on and used, and blah, blah, blah." Then one of his attendants came up and was like, "Sir, we have to go. This planet is going to be destroyed by Gillis. The planet that we're on, Gillis, is going to be destroyed by the catastrophe. Avamax, I believe it's pronounced, or Demamax." And he's like, "I don't want to leave. All my prized possessions are here." And the guy was like, "Who cares? You can start over in another planet. We gotta go." And then he turned around to talk smack to Rebecca, but he noticed Rebecca and Becky was gone from his hands, and also was his gun. And Rebecca points his gun at him, and then we get a flashback of Rebecca where she's basically showing Shiki how to shoot in the shooting game, because they play games. Rebecca, besides being a B-cuber, she's also a video gamer girl. She's basically a female attacker, technically. And she's teaching him how to shoot in the game. And she's thinking about that. And at the same time that she shot at him to knock him out, we see in the other panels you see in the thumbnail, Shiki also shot his bullets, and he hit all three. He hit the sister, he hit Jin, and he hits the old fat guy with the gun. And Shiki only knocks out Jin and the fat guy, but the chick is still in. But she's kind of hurt, as you can tell. And she even says that was a dangerous, heavy blow. And then the other sister pops up behind her, and that's when the chapter ends. And she was like, "Sorry, there's only room for one sister." And then that's when the chapter... Yeah, guys, that was a really good chapter. Can't wait for next week's chapter. What's going to go down, called The Two Powers, between these two sisters. But this was very interesting. And I'm wondering, are they the same entities? Are they different entities? Maybe these two are both sisters. So if they get both of them, they only have 3 now down. and they only have one left to go, or maybe these two sisters, like I said, are the same entity, so they belong fused. Who knows? But I can't wait for next week chapter. This chapter was really good, and yeah, awesome chapter. But like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell me down below your thoughts. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for more, so you get notified whenever I post. And I catch you on the next one. See you next time. Peace.